All right, so the next question is the RSI checklist has been promoted for use in setting up for intubations. Describe the setup as outlined in the RSI checklist. Sure.
The RSI checklist is used so that you don't miss any of the important steps.
Mm-hmm.
So the first part of the checklist is about the indications. So you confirm this is an appropriate indication, whether we meet one of the indications to RSI the patient. Next step is pre-oxygenation, and that's early in the checklist. So by the time you finished the checklist, it should be around 2 minutes later, and the person has been fully pre-oxygenated at that stage. So the equipment set up for pre-oxygenation is that they're able to be ventilated with BVM, an OP in their mouth or nasals if necessary. They have nasal cannulas, increasing the pre-oxygenation if they're breathing. They have an oral airway, and the mask is properly inflated, attached to the bag. There's a suction under the patient's right shoulder, and the end tidal is in the line. The next stage is monitoring, I think. So you check that all the monitoring is on and working, and you get a baseline GCS for the patient before you change their GCS pharmacologically, and you check that the blood glucose is in there just to make sure you're not missing a cause of unconsciousness that's reversible. Pre-oxygenation equipment, you also make sure you've got IV access, fluids running, to confirm that IV access is ready and patent. You set up your equipment, so you set up your primary plan A equipment, and the full list is there. So you've got your bougie, you've a laryngoscope and a spare, you've a tube and a spare, the cups are checked, you've your 10-ml syringe, you've your plan for how you're going to secure the tube already, and you've got then you've got your plan B airway equipment. So most of the time if you're able to ventilate, the initial plan would be to go back to BVM and then either have a second attempt at intubation, so you change something to maximise your second attempt, and if not, then you have an LMA prepared, and if it is a situation where you anticipate can't intubate, can't ventilate, or can't oxygenate, can't ventilate, you could have your surgical airway equipment. It should be to hand anyway, in case you get into that situation. Then you maximise the patient's position, and you confirm whether or not you need to have manual inline immobilisation while you're attempting to intubate the person. Next step is the drugs. So you have your drugs prepared to sedate the patient, paralyse the patient, and maintain their sedation afterwards. And in most cases you have your rescue drugs prepared as well, so adrenaline or whatever else you're going to use if the patient becomes bradycardic or very hypertensive during the attempt. Then you move on to the team brief. So you make a plan with your team, so everybody knows, everybody has been assigned a role, and they understand what their role is when they need to speak, and they understand what the process is, so they're able to assist if necessary. And they understand Plan B, and they are empowered to intervene if they feel there's a problem. And then, when everything is organised, the patient is pre-oxygenated, it's been completed, you're happy with that, you put the plan into action. Depending on, so if it's an RSI, you start with the drugs.
No worries. Question 4. What is the definition of crew resource management, and what are the core principles of CRM?
Crew, or crisis resource management, is a system, I don't have an official definition, it's a system where the team members and the team leader are working together
Yeah.
to maximise the outcomes. So it incorporates the safety aspects.
Sure.
The team roles are assigned and tasks are assigned, and it's a situation where everybody's in a position to speak, to alert the team about a safety concern.
Sure.
And the core issues in it are so safety is a huge one, and it's come from the airline industry, where safety was one of the driving forces for it.
Yeah.
The system of having checklists or having some tasks put on paper so that there's a system where you don't need to be constantly remembering each step. You can mentally dump some of the information onto a checklist and focus on the bigger issues. The team members and the team followers are all able to understand what their task is. They're able to get involved, and the team leader effectively communicates with everybody in the team. I'm trying to think of some of the other principles. The plan is shared so that like the mission trajectory or the outcome is shared, so everybody is able to work as part of the team but independently towards making the outcomes.
Fantastic. Right. The next one is what occurs at the cellular level to the brain, in the minutes following cessation of cardiac activity. Detail how basic life support affects this pathophysiology.
So when the heart stops pumping blood through the circulation system, the brain is immediately starved of its normal blood supply. This causes a lack of oxygen supply, and the brain requires a large amount of oxygen continuously. So there's a lack of oxygen. The carbon dioxide and byproducts of internal respiration are left, and they're not circulated out.
Sure.
And so very quickly the brain stops being able to function. It causes damage to the individual cells in the brain. Apoptosis, is that the word? Yeah, where the cells are not being supplied, and they eventually swell and burst.
Sure.
It causes like an excitation across the brain, where the toxins at the cell level are building up and causing damage, more swelling, and damage to the brain cells. Within 4 minutes of no circulation, there's irreparable damage to the brain starting. However, if you start doing CPR or some sort of mechanical chest compressions, that starts circulating some portion of the blood again, or it starts circulating blood but at a much lower perfusion pressure. So it can supply some oxygen and remove some of the carbon dioxide and byproducts, but it's not as effective as a normal heartbeat.
Sure. Excellent.
The brain stem is the other part of that. The brain stem can last for longer without any oxygen supply. So patients often present with agonal respirations where the brain stem reflexes are still intact, even though they're GCS3 and they're still making some respiratory effort.
Sure. Okay, excellent. And the last one, it's been quite lengthy. Outline your post-ROSC management of an adult patient according to the CPM.
So the aim in post-ROSC is to normalise as much as possible. So starting at the airway. If you have the airway secured, you want to maintain that. You want to keep the airway in good condition if it's not secured with a neural airway. So you continue with the airway manoeuvres, suctioning, positioning as necessary. If the patient is intubated, you continue to try and keep the tube in. So one of the early tasks might be preparing some sedation if you want to maintain that ET tube. Breathing, you want them to be breathing at a normal rate, and they're entitled to be within normal range. So aiming between 35 and 40 usually post-ROSC. You're aiming not to hyperventilate them. You want to keep their circulation intact, and in the immediately post-ROSC period that can be quite fragile. So gentle handling, fluids to support their circulation system, inotropes if necessary. You continue to monitor them. Pads can stay on. Also try and do a 12-lead ECG. You want to get them to hospital for definitive care or for ongoing care. So you need to plan extrication and the team available for an extrication. And you want their other vital signs to be maintained or kept to the normal limits. So blood glucose needs to be checked and managed. The causes of the cardiac arrest need to be addressed. So if they haven't been already, hypovolemia or hyperkalemia or something like that, that's manageable. You start to manage that. And gentle handling, I said. Transport to hospital. Temperatures, you don't want them to become pyrexic or hyperthermic here. You don't want that to happen. You also don't want them to become very hypothermic, because that's not been shown to be helpful either. So you're aiming to keep their temperature as close to normal as possible.
Excellent. Well, all good. I shall stop the camera, and that will conclude today, hopefully.